Welcome to Realtree Global Hunting. This week I'm helping out with deer management in Texas. As you may have already seen, I've been doing a lot of hunting in Texas over the past few months with my good friends Terry Tate and Scott Maddox, as well as Team Wild's extreme hoggers Joshua and Crystal White. I've taken plenty of game in these parts and recently helped Scott with his deer management program by taking out a malformed whitetail on his farm. If you haven't seen the video, click on this link. If you remember, Scott mentioned he had 2 young whitetail bucks that he needed taking out.
And we've got a couple of longhorn spikes out here. And they're 2.5-year-old deer. Still have no bifurcation on their horns. And we want to take those out of the herd.
There are some beautiful whitetail deer on this farm, and Scott needs to take out as many unhealthy or malformed bucks as possible. In doing so, he can help ensure the others grow healthy, strong, and more importantly, keeps the gene pool strong for future generations. Good management is key for good trophy deer. I'm up and out before sunrise so I can get into the blind undetected before the whitetail begin to move around. Now, this is a beautiful estate that's got plenty of good trophy whitetail bucks. We've seen lots of pictures on trail cams, we've seen lots of pictures on the TV, so we know they're here. However, the owner of the estate isn't looking for us to take a trophy buck at this time. He wants some help with managing the deer. Now, there's 2 young spikers in particular that need taking off this particular plot. One of them has a slightly forward-facing horn and a slightly funky one on the left-hand side. Now, we've already taken him, but there's another one here that's got 2 spikes pointing forward, and he tends to feed around this sort of area. So we've come up here to wait in the blind just to see if he comes out, and if he does, we're going to take him and hopefully put another 60-70 pounds of meat into the freezer. Fingers crossed. As the sun comes up, I'm ready and waiting for when the whitetail begin to hit the feeders. As always, patience is key. It's not long after sunrise and the whitetail are on the move. This is our first visitor this morning. He feeds quietly on the corn dropped from the feeder the night before, and all is peaceful. That is until the feeder goes off and he heads for the hills. He's only a few feet away when it begins firing out corn, and it frightens the life out of him. Luckily, he's not the buck we're looking for. A few moments later and we have another visitor. This beautiful young buck feeds away, surrounded by rabbits. Everyone is taking advantage of the plentiful food supply from the feeders in this otherwise arid part of Texas. Then, a little distance down the path, another young whitetail buck begins to feed towards us. This is our buck. As he moves closer, I wait and bide my time. As long as nothing spooks him, he should come a little closer so we can take a better look at him and then pick the perfect shot. As the sun gets higher in the sky and the day gets into full flow, our buck slowly makes his way towards us. Right now, patience is the name of the game. It's far too tempting to take a quartering on shot. I'm feeling quite excited right now, but he's shooting up for meat, so I need to make sure that we don't touch right game to the broadside. There we go. Like I said, patience is key. Looks like he's turning. Seems to get a shot of that shoulder and taking it. But we don't want to spoil the back straps. My patience has paid off, and he's now close enough that we've been able to confirm that he's the one we're after. I pick my spot and squeeze the trigger. He drops on the spot. A perfect high shoulder shot, and his legs instantly fold as he's taken down. Yeah, perfect. So that's the benefit of using that high shoulder shot. I'm really excited, my heart's going as It's almost as exciting as shooting, or equally as exciting as shooting a big trophy buck or a 360 class bull. It's a buzz. Now, he's not a particularly impressive buck by any stretch of the imagination. He's just a year old. But this is the ones that these guys want taken off. They're very, very serious about their management here. Leave the bigger bucks in. In fact, there's a couple still on their feeders elsewhere this year. Well, the bucks that have been left from this year will grow bigger. They'll keep the strength in the herd, they keep the strength in the gene pool. And there's these little ones, take them out, they make for good eating. Management here in the US is no different from anywhere else, be it in Europe, Australia, South Africa. Keeping good healthy bloodlines, making sure you're taking out the weak or the young if you're going to be taking them for meat, and leave the big dominant bulls and bucks in the herd to procreate.
A great shot, and now it's time to claim our buck.
A quick look here. Yeah, he's gone. So, put that down there. What a beautiful young buck. Now, as you can see, that high shoulder shot, it really does the business. Now, he's only a light yearling from last year, little spiker, but this is the sweetest tasting meat. Now, Scott asked us to do him a favour and take out the younger bucks for him, of which this is one. Leave the big ones in the herd. As you've seen, there's quite a few that aren't quite ready to take yet, but have got some fantastic potential. Now, they've got a great management program here, plenty of feeders out there. They understand which bucks and how many does are in each area. They're very, very careful on that count. They do an awful lot of work with game cams, just keeping an eye on the numbers. And that's why they've got such a healthy population here. Like everywhere else in the world, it's really easy to pull the trigger as soon as you see a half decent buck. But being dedicated enough and patient enough to let that buck grow to its full potential, proliferate his genes, make sure there's good strength in the herd, will make sure in future years you've also got other big bucks on your property. But for now, this fella didn't make the grade. His card was marked, and actually he's now going to make some great sausage and great steak. Good size in the body, nice and healthy. They feed extremely well here. And as I say, all the bucks at this particular farm I've seen are in pretty good shape. Now, this isn't a high fence ranch, this is just a farm. But like I say, the guys here, they're passionate about their deer hunting, and they want to make sure the future generations that come and hunt here also have a great opportunity. So I'm going to take him back now, get him dressed out, and hopefully make some burgers.
Another important management job dealt with, and I'm helping keep Scott's whitetail gene pool healthy and strong. Plus, I've had a great time. Tune in to next week's Realtree Global Hunting, when I'll be in Hungary on the trail of another monster wild boar. Subscribe to Team Wild TV for more from Realtree Global Hunting and our entire new range of shows for 2013.